name is Dr. Olivia Moses, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be making a take on Chana Masala. Now, if you've ever been to an Indian restaurant, you probably have seen this or have had a vegetarian friend order this. However, this is loved by vegetarians, vegans, meat eaters alike. Now, I have to qualify this whole recipe that it is a take or a spin on Chana Masala. It is not necessarily authentic. Now, with this, I have to say, I know my mom is probably going to watch this video and she's going to be like, what are you doing? It is a take on Chana Masala. So these are the ingredients, and I know it looks like a lot, but believe me, it is worth every delicious bite. So we have what we call garam masala, and that is, and people put different things in garam masala, but the three ingredients that you have to have in any garam masala is clove, cinnamon, and cardamom. And then I threw some bay leaf in there as well. We have chili powder, we have salt, we have cumin seeds, we have a ginger garlic paste, we have coriander powder, we have turmeric. We also have chana masala, and I'll get to that when we start cooking. We have onions, tomatoes, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, and that is the star of this entire show. But we also, and this is my take on it, I am adding mushroom and I'm adding some peas to this for some color. So are you ready to get started on this wonderful take on chana masala? Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to put some cumin seeds in the pan with the hot oil. And what you're going to hear them is you're going to hear them start to sizzle. And so now that's probably, I put probably a half to a teaspoon of cumin whole seeds into the hot oil. So now with the garam masala, I'm just going to pound it a little bit just to break things up. Okay, so now that we have a bit of a powder going on here, we're going to throw this in the hot oil too. You're going to see my muscles with this heavy thing. There we go. So that's all in there, and we're going to actually put this aside because we have other things to get to. Okay, so we're going to stir that around in our hot oil and let that roast in the oil a bit. Okay. And into this, I am going to add all of our powders, and you don't necessarily have to do it this way. This is just my preference, just to get all the powders out of the way and to roast them in oil. So I'm going to put some turmeric in here, and again, you don't want to burn this. So I'm going to put turmeric in here, and that's probably around a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half. The chana masala, I'm going to put a little bit more. I'm going to put about a tablespoon and a half of that in here. And then some coriander powder. And then I'm going to put some chili powder. And we're going to roast that all in the oil. Okay, this is smelling delicious, and we roasted it pretty nicely in the oil. And now what we're going to do is we are going to put the onions in. Now the onions are going to get roasted now into all of that wonderful spice in there. And then what we are also going to do is we are going to put in some ginger and garlic paste. And this is probably about a tablespoon and a half of ginger garlic paste. And actually the onion, I did half of a medium-sized red onion in here. Now, some of you might be asking, why does she use red onion instead of white onion? You can use white onion, you can use brown onions, you can use whatever you want. However, one of my dietitian friends at work basically was telling me about the benefits of purple onions. Okay, so now that the onions are in there, we're gonna have that saute a bit, and we're going to do put some salt on there to release some of that water out of the onions. And now we're going to add some of our liquid ingredients, and by liquid I mean stuff that has water in it, which is the tomatoes. And here I'm using fresh tomatoes. I actually diced little small Roma tomatoes. I did about 5 of them. I did about 5 of them. Now here is a place where some people would use canned tomato, or they would use tomato sauce, or they would use tomato paste. I like the taste of fresh onions in this particular dish. Now, what is important, however, when you use fresh onions, you are going to have to make sure this cooks down. And by cooking down, you're going to add maybe a little bit more salt to release that water. And again, you're just adding a pinch of salt each time, and you're not over salting, because you can always add salt in, you can't take salt out. So make sure that you are monitoring how much salt you're putting in here. So I'm going to put my temperature up just a bit, and we are going to have this sit a little bit and actually cook these tomatoes, because we don't want that really fresh tomato taste, we want the cooked tomato taste in here. So this is going to take a little minute. So we're going to sit this aside, and we will be ready to add our other ingredients in just a few minutes. Okay, we are almost on the home stretch here. We have the tomatoes nicely cooked down. They are a nice dark reddish brown color, so you don't see any of that fresh light red that a fresh tomato looks like. Gonna do one more mix around here. And then we are going to throw in, again, not authentic chana masala, we are throwing in some mushrooms. And we're going to mix that around. And this is going to cook down. And try to coat every single one of these mushrooms in this, now, I guess we could call it sauce. And to be honest with you, right here, if you're not a chickpea lover, you potentially could just make a mushroom type of curry, if you want to speak in a general sense, and just put a bunch of mushrooms in here. I will tell you, this sauce, you slather it on cardboard, it might taste delicious. So we are going to kind of just let those simmer a little bit, and then we're going to get our chickpeas right now. Okay, so our garbanzo beans, chickpeas, I'm using them interchangeably, but all the same thing. This is what people make hummus out of. And I'm going to throw that in. Okay, there you go. We're going to mix this around. And we are going to coat in this wonderful sauce these chickpeas. Okay, so once this is kind of all incorporated, it has sat a little bit, we still want it to keep on cooking, but we don't want to burn the bottom of the pan here. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of water, and we're going to mix, and that is going to create a little bit more of a watery, I guess you could call it gravy in here for a little bit. And then you're going to simmer it until it becomes thick. And at that point, you kind of know it's pretty much done. So we're going to kind of set it down, stop stirring, let it sit for a while, and come back to it. And we'll give it probably around 3 minutes or so. See you in 3 minutes. So what we have done now is simmer this for about 2 to 3 minutes, and what we see is the gravy has kind of thickened up. So once we added the water, it was really thin. Now it's thickened up. And again, not traditional, I am going to throw in some frozen peas. Now I'm going to tell you why I didn't throw these peas in when I threw in the mushrooms and the garbanzo beans. It's because I like to keep the vibrant color of the peas. So straight fresh out of the freezer, you can actually just toss them in, and the heat of the curry or of this dish is going to completely cook them through and through. So I just shut off the heat, and I'm just going to mix these peas in. And you're going to keep the color and keep a little bit of the snap of the pea in this dish. So after those peas have gotten in, you can actually let it sit a little while, and it's going to kind of cook and defrost, I guess, so to speak, those peas. So once that has done, you smell this delicious flavor. Now a little bit on that chana masala. So I'm going to tell you something, but don't tell anyone because it's a secret. I use an already prepared chana masala, and you can get these at pretty much any Indian store. You can get it online, wherever. However, it is literally a bunch of spices. They literally have that garam masala in there. They also have the key kind of secret ingredient is they have mango powder, and they also have pomegranate powder in there. And that gives a wonderful sour flavor that lemon and lime just can't give you. And that is such a unique flavor that is kind of signature to a dish like this. So once this is done, I'm going to just finish it off with a little bit of lemon juice, and we are done. Now it seems complicated with all of these ingredients in it, but it really isn't. It is very, very quick. Now it's time to assemble our plate. Now this is our full plate. Now what we did was we had some brown rice. Now one word on that. Usually when you have traditional chana masala, you probably will eat it with some type of Indian flatbread. However, today we're doing totally untraditional. So what we are going to be doing is we have brown rice here, just plain brown rice. We have green beans that are spiced Indian style. We have our take on chana masala, and we have our raita. Now, don't tell anyone. It's vegan. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Olivia Moses, and thank you for joining me in my kitchen. Thank you for joining me and spending some precious moments out of your day in my kitchen with me. It is always exciting when we have a new guest, so I'm going to ask you to subscribe as you leave so you can be a guest every single time we have a new video. Thank you for joining me, and subscribe.